So, hello everybody. I am running a bit behind with Monday motivation, um, but I wanted to be sure that I stay consistent. So that's why I am on Hang With here at 8:46 p.m. That's the time here in Kansas City, Missouri. Um, and I wanted to speak about passion. I'm going to try not to type too loudly, but I want to have my points of reference. I've got my computer here right behind my phone. So if you're not following me on Instagram, I want you all to do that. So you can, if you can't catch up with me for Monday Motivation, then at least you'll be able to see like my quote of the day. Most of the times, if I am thinking about something, I'll start with a quote image on Instagram, and then I'll just kind of let myself go from there. But today was a quote by Maya Angelou, and I actually think I need to go back and edit what I posted on Instagram because I want to be sure to give her proper credit. Basically, it was talking about what is success. And I did say that this was going to be about passion. Monday Motivation is about passion. But when you talk about success, you have to do a couple of things to be successful. You have to love yourself, like the space that you're in, and you have to like what you're doing to be successful. If you are not in a good place where you understand yourself and where you like yourself, then you're not going to be able to do anything from day to day. You're not going to be able to move your feet. You're not going to be able to activate the passion that you have, and you can have a lot of passion. Um, y'all know by now I'm an artist, so I am passionate about art. I'm passionate about music. I'm passionate about all things creative and other people that are creative businesses, creative designs, and I'm really passionate about those things. But there has been a time, I guess I should say, there had been a time in recent years where I wasn't liking the space that I was in. I thought that because my geographical location, being in Kansas City and I wasn't in LA anymore, meant that I couldn't be successful. It meant that I was going to have to stay stagnant. It meant that I was going to have to go work for AT&T, Ford, GM, the post office, and all of those are great places. My mother retired from AT&T. My father retired from the post office. They took care of me extremely well growing up. I want to make that clear. But as a creative, as an artist, as someone who has been on this path, you know, for a great deal of time, not knowing that I was on this creative entrepreneurship path, I wasn't in a great space. So those really aren't the places for really aren't the places for me specifically. But if I can start, now that I've shared that this is going to be about success and passion, and what does passion have to do with success, I want to start by defining it really quick. Passion, I just did a Google search, strong and barely controllable emotion. And it gives the example, a man of impetuous passion. That's a lot of passion. And then it also, the second, interestingly enough, because y'all know I can take it there, passion, the second definition, it is a noun, the suffering and death of Jesus. Meditations of the Passion of Christ. It gives synonyms: crucifixion, suffering, agony, martyrdom, and it refers to the Passion of Christ. That just kind of takes me somewhere else. I always have a script in mind, but I always come back to, as I told y'all last week and the week before, I come back to that that second definition, because if we are doing what we're supposed to be, and if we're walking in our calling and we're doing those things that we're called to do as, you know, vessels, as creative people, and I'm very, very clear about who I speak to when I do Monday Motivation. I'm speaking to independent artists, whether you rap, whether you sing, whether you write poetry, whether you weave baskets for a living, if you have a clothing line, if you are a barber, if you are a stylist, if you are a hairstylist, if you're a makeup artist. Yes, I have, you know, had clients that are outside of the creative industries, but that's, you know, that's who I speak to, because that's who I am. I'm a creative person. So I go back to that, the suffering and death of Jesus. He had to be pretty passionate to get up on a cross and, you know, give his life. He had to be pretty passionate about the people that he was choosing to do that for. And I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not saying that we are Jesus, like I am Jesus, because I, you know, I sin, I stumble, I do all of those things. I'm not by any means, you know, perfect. But I am striving to operate in his image. So, with that being said, can I just be a little bit passionate about the gifts and the talents that I possess? Can I not just put forth effort and have a strong and barely controllable emotion when it comes to arts, when it comes to how I handle the business of Asylum Media Group, when it comes to how I handle the business of AvaBella Music? Can I not do that? That's how we're supposed to approach business and branding, because at the end of the day, and I've told you all this several times, I've told you all before, just because you're an artist, just because you're an MC, just because you rap, just because there's a difference between an MC and a rapper. That's all another post. But just because you do those things, just because you're a barber, doesn't mean that you don't have a business. You have a business, and you have to govern yourself accordingly. You have to act like you have some sense. You have to keep financial records. You have to trademark your name. You have to choose the type of business that you have, whether it's a sole proprietor, whether it's an LLC, whether you're operating a nonprofit that is for the arts. You have to do certain things so that people will take you seriously, you know, and that's just the bottom line. So you can take yourself seriously. Thank you to those of you who are watching. I just want to stop real quick. We're talking about passion, because I see that we've had a couple new people join us. We're talking about passion and success. And I wanted to first define passion. I always take it there because the faith is my anchor and how I run my business. It's how I approach the business. And, you know, that's the second definition of passion. And the quote that I put on my Instagram, I'm at Miss AvaBella. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, that's MSAVABELLA on Instagram as well as Twitter. You can always go to the link along the bottom just underneath my chin. You'll be able to click on there. You can subscribe for gig updates, which I have a couple that I want to share with you all, because tour season is upon us, festival season. People are preparing now for what's happening in the spring. So I've been getting a lot of opportunities, but I will get to that. Nevertheless, I get off track because I want to get everything in and I want to keep this as short as possible. The quote that I posted was from Maya Angelou. She was a fellow Missourian, and it just talks about, you know, liking who you are, liking the space that you're in, and liking what you do. That's when you can be successful. And I think I put something to the effect of, when you are liking what you're doing, when you're passionate about it, when you like who you are, then most likely you're walking the road to success. You're nearly there. If you can get those two things, those two basic things under wraps, then you'll be able to go the rest of the way to get to where you need to get to, whatever your success looks like. And that's another Monday motivation in itself. What does success even look like for you? You know, my view of success changed probably the middle of my promotional tour. I realized that, you know, yes, I'm on tour. I'm opening for a couple of names. I did BET Music Matters when it came to Kansas City. I, you know, was going from city to city to city, and I'm a mother. You know, I've been a mother now for 10 years. I put an album out, and it's time to work that album in different markets. It's time to work it in my region and in the cities within my region. And I found out that, you know, I had come, I come to a place where I was getting so much information, and I knew that other people needed this information, and I knew that other people needed to understand, like, hey, a promo tour is a promo tour. It is a marketing tool, and if you don't understand what the heck you're doing out there on the road for days on end, you will not make any money. You won't be able to eat on the road. You won't have nowhere to stay on the road. So you have to be smart. You have to brand yourself. You have to operate as though you're a business. And that's when I started learning about BMI and publishing and understanding that even though it's a promo tour, there's other ways to get paid. There's publishing. There's BMI, there's ASCAP, there's CSAC. This is a total nother, like, it's a blog post, it's a total nother hang with post in itself. But all these things are on my blog. I talk about this stuff all the time, so you're more than welcome to go and get those free resources. I don't charge for any of this information until people, if you want to be a client and you're on the roster and I'm working your music and I'm working for you, well and good. We can talk about some financial exchange, but we're both starving artists, so I already understand what it is. I just want to work with people to help get good music out, because what's on the radio is trash. I think I have a couple. Okay. Brian Bourne, 888, you're a mess every time you're on here. I want to be sure if you all have any questions that pertain to the Monday motivation, if you have any questions about publishing, royalties, getting your music placed. I had a couple of successes last year, this year, and it's spilling over into this year with placements in films. And those are the things that I want to share with you all. I think in closing, because I've kind of gotten off on a tangent before I tell you about the opportunities that I do have right now, and I thank you to the 8 of you all who are tuning in. Goodness. I thank you all to the 8 of you all who are tuning in. I appreciate you. Please make sure, if you want to watch the beginning, go to AvaBellasIndieBlog.com. You can scroll down and you can watch any of the archived Hang With posts. But in closing, where passion is concerned, when you are pursuing something that you're passionate about, it is much easier. We all know that if you are working every day, because this is still work, to pursue your dream, to walk in your calling, to utilize your talents and your gifts, to take care of yourself, it's still work. If you are doing some type of work that you don't like, it ain't gonna work. The work will not work if you don't like what you're doing, if you're not passionate about it, if it has nothing to do with, I don't object when people are working and they are artists, but there's a difference between being an artist and a hobbyist. A hobbyist goes, to the studio every once in a while and tries to, drive the engineer or, the people at the studio crazy because I just need a couple hours. You cannot just get a couple hours and think that it is going to be the type of quality that your music needs to be heard. Shooting videos, whatever needs to be done, you can't treat this like a hobby. Either it's a business or it's not. You cannot claim a hobby on your Schedule C when tax time comes. So be passionate about what you're doing and be for real with yourself. If you're not ready, if you're not there yet, just let it go. Move aside for the people who are passionate and who are ready to affect positive change with their music and with their words and with their art. Move out of the way. That there's a lot going on right now where people are in the way. On social media, I name names. There's too many to count, but there are people who are in the way and people who are perpetuating stereotypes and all types. But that's another Monday motivation. Just be passionate and like yourself, love yourself enough to pursue your passion. Because in doing that, you will discover that you're on the road to success. So I digress with passion for Monday motivation. Just before I go, again, please make sure that you are subscribed to AvaBella's Indie Blog. There has been probably like 2 or 3 opportunities that have been sent to me. People are beginning to prepare for South by Southwest. If you're interested in performing at South by Southwest Music Festival, there is an opportunity to perform for 10 minutes. If you want more information on that, just make sure you email me info@avabellasindyblog.com, or you can just email me directly through the website. Again, you can also go back and watch the beginning of this broadcast and other Monday motivations to catch up. If you want to see the quotes and catch up that way via Instagram, please be